Hello guys, welcome back. Okay, we will start now. Okay, so in last class we saw, we learned about IAM. So there is one topic that is pending from IAM, that is multi-factor authentication. Before we start, any questions on last class? We'll spend 1 or 2 minutes on it and we'll go ahead.
Can we directly go into the console account and create what we have done previously, or else?
Console account. What do you mean by console account? Root account?
Yeah, it's the root account. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, root account. I'm doing all my labs with root. No, I didn't get your answer. Your question is, can we do all activities with root account or not? Is that the question?
No, previously we haven't. I think we haven't done with the root account. We did it with the regular account. It's not linked with the credit card and all. That
No.
do it.
No. I done with my root account only, because when I'm logging into this, you might have seen that I'm entering my email ID and the password. So if you are entering with email ID, it is root account. If you are entering with, we used test one and AWS admin also. If you are entering with just a username without email ID, then it is a normal user.
Okay, got it.
Okay, right. There's one thing that is pending here is in that, we saw that it's just a username and password. So ideally, this is not secure when you are connecting with internet and entering in. There will be always malwares will be installed, or somewhere they can hack these usernames and passwords. So there is one more security layer has been added to this is multi-factor authentication. So the main thing, here what we need to understand is, this is a freeware. There are a couple of ways to do this. The ideal way that people will follow is they can buy, for root account also they will implement this, but let's see how we can implement for this, any user. So to implement this multi-factor, either a software, you might have seen this with any HDFC bank or something. They will provide one device, and every 30 seconds it will change one number on it. Until unless you enter that number, it won't open. After you entering the username and password, and it will ask for the one number, and then until unless you provide that number that is available on the device or any software that you install on the desk, or any Android app or Apple iPhone app that ideally we will use, everyone will use Google.
You mean the authenticator?
Correct. Google Authenticator, yes, okay. Exactly. So everyone will use Google Authenticator. So what we just need to do is we just need to install that on any Android or iPhone, and then we have to come here and security credentials. There it is. Manage password. See here, assign MFA device, it's not there, so you can click on edit. Activate, virtual MFA or hardware. We don't have any hardware, but we'll go with virtual MFA and click next. Okay, let me minimize it. Click next. Do you see the screen? Once we come to this place, we need to open that Google Authenticator on your mobile, and just click on setup. So then it will ask to scan the this QR code visible on screen, and just click on here and it will display the number. So you have to enter the two consequent numbers here, authentication code and code 2, and then activate virtual MFA. So let's, I'm doing this now. So I'll set up this AWS admin, right? So I'm just activating this with it's showing some number here, 719. I am waiting for the next consequent number, 6-digit number. It should be showing at any moment in next 5 seconds. I got the new number now on screen, 892780. Successfully associated. So okay. Done it. Now we will see how we can log in with this. We'll copy this URL, copy, and open another screen here. AWS admin. I didn't remember. See here, earlier it directly, took us to console, but now it is asking for the MFA code. So we need to open this authenticator on Google or Android. Android or iPhone. So we need to enter that code 03990. Okay, now we are. This is the extra security layer that, in ideal scenarios, everyone, in any live accounts, we will use this. We have to use this. So it's a compliance requirement. So in live, people will use this and everyone will follow this Google Authenticator. But one thing we need to remember is ideally, this master, root account that we have, people will keep that in safe. So they will, some people will, in any higher organization, they who follow this compliance strictly, they will buy the hardware device and keep it somewhere in locker, and it will be configured with one man, and the key will be with some other few, so that two people will be having two people are required to enter into the root account. So it's a very big organization who are like millions of payments per month. So those kind of people, they are very secure. Some best practices, that's nothing much we need to worry, but we just need to worry about this multi-factor authentication enabled on this. So, okay, this is one topic that was pending, so we covered it. So let's go back to, let's log out from here. Sign up. And come back. Okay, so now we are done. So, I mean, you guys all created the account, so to do the labs. So I will show you where you can find this free limit. So whenever you're doing any lab, make sure that you are shutting down or deleting the resources once a lab was done. So if you go to AWS free trial its limits, it's only showing not this one. Let me hold a minute. What happened? They changed this. Yeah, they changed this, man. I just checked few days back. They changed this console in a different way, in more easier way. Okay, so this is the place where you can find. This is 750 hours per month, and you need to make sure that you run any instance should not cross 750 hours EC2 and 5 GB of S3. So whenever you're doing any lab, just make sure you check here, and once you are done with, you just delete those things when you utilize. So that's the main thing that you need to worry. Otherwise, you will be charged. Unknowing you will be charged. So that's the one thing that you need to make sure you know before you start your labs. And one more thing is, once you logged in, so make sure you check every day by coming to here and in my account and my billing dashboard. So if you come here, make sure that you have nothing listed here. Okay, so it should be 0 or and if it is something you utilize, it will be displayed here. So, just to get the overview of it, every day if you come spend 2 minutes coming here, so if you have something already started and if you forgot, it can be displayed here that it's being charged for $2, $3 or something. So you just need to be careful about this place and regularly once if you are doing the lab. Okay, that's one thing. So now we will start with one more service that is EC2, and let's go and see that we'll start creating the instance and try to connect them. So what is the best ways to do that? So okay, so again go back to service. This is the EC2 is the service that we are going to discuss today. So let's click on here. Before we start, I just give you an overview of it. By default, AWS has given us one virtual private cloud. By default, it will be created. So by that, it will be useful for us to start practicing directly at EC2 level. But in ideal scenarios, we need to create VPC and configure the networks and make sure we have availability zones, subnets, and all that. So, but by default, we will start, we'll delete the entire VPC and start creating it maybe in coming classes. But now, we'll directly start with EC2. And these are interrelated, EC2 and VPN, and some points is IAM roles that we skipped in earlier class is all interrelated. So I'll between move on there and then I will come back to this. Like that I will do. So. Okay, so this is the place where you can launch any instance right? So this is the service EC2 Elastic Compute Cloud. This is called. So and where you have this is the place, and there are many other things that we can do at this place. So load balancers and assigning the IPs, creating the volumes. But we'll go there, but we'll try to launch this one basic instance. Okay, so in AWS terminology, I mean in VMware we call VM or server or something. In AWS, everyone will call as a instance. So just don't get confused. Just click on launch and make sure that you are doing all the labs in one selected region just until unless you are comfortable. So make sure that I selected Oregon or anything that you can select Mumbai, Asia Pacific or whatever the region that you select. You just make sure that you are doing all the labs, so it will be easy for you to delete the resources once you've done the lab. Otherwise you won't see those, right? Okay, click on launch instance and you always try to select only free tier. I mean, until unless you are okay to pay some amount for the AWS. So free tier only, and once you select this, and either Linux or Red Hat or SUSE, Windows machine or anything that we can, we'll start with AC2 free tier Linux. Okay, and this is the different types of EC2 instance. So we'll cover that, but at this moment just leave it. We'll cover that in a moment. So next launch instance, and at this moment you just leave these go with just default settings that we have. We will cover one by one why and when we need to select this. So what is the subnet and advanced details, every options that we have here will cover in slowly. Okay, so just launch it and don't select anything at this moment and click launch, and you can generate, I mean every instance that we launch in Amazon has to have a key there. So this is the security level. Instead of using a normal username and password, and guys, I mean who are not asking any question, just go on mute, so it will be helpful for others. Okay, so everything. So you can use the existing keys or you can create the new one. I mean, by default, Amazon will create a new key pair if you don't have that. So we'll create the new pair and just CVK tech, and you need to download, otherwise it won't be available later on. So that PEM file will be downloaded, launch. So let's go back to the instances. So what we done is we just launched one free tier eligible Linux image, and also we'll try to launch one more image for Windows, and I will again select the free tier, and select this one. I'll go with 2012. Yeah, again, I mean, I don't choose anything. I will go as is. Okay, this is not a default one. This is a custom VPC that I created. So I will go to the one which has already I'll choose the London. I think that they recently launched. This is the default. Okay, now I'm choosing the London because when I checked it, the last law, that I already created some VPCs for the, so I deleted all the default VPC to create the lab. So just now I'm using the default VPC now to launch instance. So I'm in London now. I'm using the London region. So I just launch the instant. I will do the activity that I did last time and go with review, same as it, launch and create a new file and cv qtch, so we can download pair and launch instance. Okay, so I'll launch, I just use Linux, and I also select one Windows machine, selected free tier, yeah. I'll go with 2012 free tier auto base. No, I'll go with 2012. Uh, free tier eligible, launch. Use the CVK tech, yeah. Your instance. Okay, what I did is just I gone through all default settings, but I created one key and launched two instances. One is Linux machine and one is Windows machines. Okay, by default, every region once you created, you might have seen this. If you go to the VPC, this service. Um, and select the service and go to the VPCs. By default, everyone will be having one VPC created. So any instance that we create now will be available. We'll use this VPC and launch in that. So that we will cover later on, to understand. But at this moment, just launch instance and connect it is the main concept here. And then we'll see. Okay, let's see. Connect. Checks are coming green, so we can't connect it. So here, if you see this is the machine that we have, and it can, if you select that instance type, information, what is the private IP that it has, what is the external IP that is connected, what is the DNS name that it has, and what is the security groups that it has allocated by default, and we have every information that we have. So, but ideally, we just need this one. And we try to connect it. Okay, this is ready, right? So let's open the putty, and there is one thing that before we connect to this machine, the key that we downloaded, that we need to use that key. So how we can use that is, putty will allow only the PPK file, so but the downloaded one is PEM key. So we need to convert, we need to export PEM PPK from that. So what we can do is, there is a free tool that we have called keygen, and by using this we can generate that. So let's all files, and let's downloads, we should be having that in downloads, and save private key, and desktop party. Okay, this is a free tool that we can use for, it's not anything related to AWS. This is something that you can get. Any encryption, that people will use this free tool to generate, get the PPK file from the PEM key. So we'll use that, and now we got the CVK.ppk, so we can use this PPK file to connect to that machine. So okay, let's open putty here, and give the IP address that I copied from here, and this is the IP that I'm copying, and in connection SSH auth, you need to browse that PPK key and open. Can it accept? Okay. So this is how we need to connect with a Linux machine once you launch it. So we need to have the putty, and we need to have, there are two things that we need to have this putty. Any putty or Linux machine, you can directly connect. If you are using the Mac OS, you can open the command and directly connect, and if it is any Windows machine, you can use putty. And if it is a Windows also, we can directly connect this. Let's see how we can connect this machine. So in the same way, we need to go here and right click and connect, and by default, it won't display the administrator password. There is a difference between connecting to the Windows and Linux machine. Linux machine, by giving that, you will connect it, but whereas in Windows machine, we need to give that key to see the password of the Windows machine. So again, we need to select this PPK, and we need to give the PPK here. Downloads. No, wrong one. Yeah, that's the one. Decrypt password. So now it's displaying this. Copy here and download a desktop file means, you can use your own one. By default, what it will do is, it will just populate with the DNS name of the Windows machine. Okay, just close it and open this one. Connect. Give the administrator password that we copied here. Okay, it's logging in, so it may take a couple of seconds. It's very small instance that we took with free instances. Okay, right. It's done. So this is how we need to connect this Windows machine and Linux machine. So Linux machine will use the PPK, and Windows machine it will use the PEM key to display the password of it. So this is how we need to connect it. Now we will see, I mean, there are um, I mean, any disk space issues that we have, or how we can extend the disk space, that we will see, and what kind of instance type that we have when you are launching any instance that we have. Okay, let's see. I mean, try to launch one more instance here. Okay, click on launch and select anything, any free tier again, or select any. Um, Not sure. Okay, so this is the place where we need to understand some little bit on as type. So what do you mean by type? Which one you need to select? So when you are launching any new instance, see here there are T1, T2, small, and again M4 and C4, and again X1, D2, D3. There are too many types of instance types that we have. So when we will choose, and what this different means. I mean, like VMware or any, I mean, does anyone have an idea of VMware or Hyper-V, that whenever we launch machine, that later on if you want to increase the CPU or memory or disk space, we just shut down and add it. So, but whereas in Amazon, we don't have that facility of CPU and memory upgradation of, I mean, for the existing instance. So there is a different way of doing it, but here, I mean, these are all fixed. T2 large means 4 CPUs and 16 GB of RAM. So when we will be used, I mean, all generic purpose. I mean, if you are not sure and if you think that normal machine will be fine, if you have not done any capacity planning or just a small application, yes, we can go ahead. This is the instance type that we can choose. So if you think, I mean, the only difference that we can show, I mean, identify between the types is, so CPUs and memory and the EBS storage and the network. Based on a CPU, memory, instance, and I mean, instance storage, these two are related to storage, and this one is network performance. Based on these four characteristics, this instance type is divided, and we have different kinds of instance type. It's all like if it is someone wants a memory optimized, they will go with 962. See here, X132 X large is almost how much is? You'll surprise it. See this, 2 tera of GB. Okay, 2 tera of GB that we have for the RAM, and the CPU is 128, and 20 gigabit of network performance that it can get. So what about 16 gig? See, almost 1 TB of GB, 1 TB of RAM, and 64 CPUs, and we have a storage of 192 one disk. We have instant store, and we'll talk about EBS optimized. You just imagine that these two are related to storage. Okay, storage, and this is network, this is CPU and memory. There's a 4 categories based on the size and limits that we have. This instance type has been I mean, divided into different types. If you see here, M1s are storage optimized. Let's see, storage optimized. This means if you see here, the disk, I mean, we'll go with memory, and you will see with difference very easily. CPU and memory. If you see CPU computer optimized, you will have a more CPUs here. You will have a more CPUs than the memory. But whereas if you see the memory optimized, if you see the more memory than CPU, and in between we have different types of one is for graphics, one is for storage optimized, one is for computer, I mean general purpose. These are the different types of insert. I mean, if you choose this, if you on top of it, if you see this current generation, there are some old generation also will be available here, but ideally we don't see that. I mean, by default, but these are T1 is degraded. That means it's already gone, but you can't launch it. But there are people who launched already may have this. So, but those people need to migrate from this type to any other type that we have. Okay, so that's also we can do. So let's imagine that what we did is we done, I mean, a T2 micro, right, with one CPU and one PP. What if suddenly you think that since it is a cloud boss, you are saying it's so flexibility, so I just need, I mean, 2 GB RAM instead of 1 GB RAM. So how can I do that? I mean, what is the best way to do that? Do we need a downtime of it? Are not needed. How we can increase? But whereas in VMware, you just shut down and increase the RAM, and you get whatever you want. How we can do this? Same thing in Amazon. So let's see. I mean, how we can do this. So let's come back to the instances. I'll keep this page open, and I'll go in and. Okay, running instance, and I'm in London now. So what is the instance type that we have for this? What is the instance type? This is T2 micro. So what if I want to increase this instance type? Why we need to increase? So you feel that the current CPU or something memory is not sufficient for the existing application, so you just want to increase the, I mean, RAM on it. So let's see, I mean, what is the option? So it's very straightforward. So I mean, we need to shut down the machine. Instance state, stop. All start, stop, reboot, terminate. You'll have all this information on this tab. So just stop it. Yes, I want to stop this. Okay, it's stopped now. So the one thing simple is image, no, not it. Instant type, instance settings, and change instance type. Okay, click on here, and now it's displaying T2 micro to T2 nano or T2 small. So just select T2 small, and it will be charged a little bit for me, but done. See here, and now you can bring the system. So you might have a question that does it change any OS or settings or anything that if application is running, nothing will be impacted, and there is no change for your applications that is running on a node space. Nothing will be changed. That one more GB of RAM will be attached. I mean, based on the configuration for the T2 small, from the micro to small, whatever the small configuration we have. T2 small is, so the only difference that we have is from 1 GB to 2 GB it will be upgraded, right? So go back here and you can start. Okay. Okay, done. So this is how we need to change the instance type. Then we will see, we'll go back to this console and see what are the other options that we have. So what it's saying that is instance storage. What is this EBS optimized? Okay, so there are two kinds of storage available. Instance storage and EBS. Okay, so what the difference between instance store? This one is mainly, if you see, observe this EBS only, so that means that it doesn't have an instance store. But whereas if you see this large instance memory optimized, this has an instance storage of 2 TB of hard disk attached, and this has 2 into 2 GB or 2 TB of disk attached. Like this, there are some instance have an instance storage. And what that means, instance store, what that means there are two kinds. One is instance, one is just an EBS. So if you have an instance storage, is nothing but, if you imagine that you have an VMware, and it have its own dedicated host, right? Once you launch any instance, it will be launched somewhere in some of the virtualization platform, and that host, that physical host, might have some storage. So, and for those, if it is having instance storage, means the instance where it is running on the physical host will, from that, it will take some storage and allocate it, that instance to that storage to that instance. What is the benefit means? There are some, it will give the more IO than a normal EBS. And if you reboot the machine, if you shut down and bring them back, and the data in that instance store that you store, if it is allocated some D drive of, if you select this, if you choose this instance 1 into 1920, if you launch this instance, and it will be, the drive might be D drive or F drive or something, and if you store something on it, and if you shut down and reboot the instance, and all data in that instance is gone. That is good. Temporal storage. Instance store is nothing but, we will call in any technical questions when you are attending for the job or writing any exam. This, you need to remember this. Instance store or temporal storage doesn't save any data. If you reboot, the data will be gone. But whereas EBS, it will be a standard. Okay, it will be there forever. Until unless you lose something, you deleted that drive. So there are two kinds of storage that we have. One is instance store, and one is EBS. Okay, so if you launch any instance, what we done is, all generation is just a current generation. So what we did is we launched one micro instant, but it means it doesn't have any instance storage. It means it have the storage, the storage that it is using is only EBS. Okay, so if you shut down this machine, and if you write something, new folder test, it's not like that. I'll go with test on it. We'll attach one disk to it. So all this EBS, we don't have any control of size increase and decrease if it has an instance stored. Whereas if it is an EBS, then we have a flexibility of adding the storage and attaching that VM and so on. So let's see, what is the options that we have in this system. What we have is, we have a C drive, and it is 30. Ideally, this is not enough in a live environment. So this is the application. OS is installed in C drive. We need to have some 20 GB or 30 GB install application and do it. So that's the instance. And now let's go back where we can add disk to this reader. This instance. Again, you need to the same thing will be available in EC2 console in the same service. So most of the time, people in cloud will be using this console very frequently. Okay, so Elastic Block Store is the complete abbreviation of EBS, and this is the place where you can see that. And this is the volumes, where you can see the volumes of it. So since you launched two machines, these are the two volumes that behind the screens it is using. 30 GB for Windows machine and 8 GB for the Linux machine that it's using. So if you want to attach new instance, a new volume to that, so we can come here and click on volumes and create a volume. So don't worry about any options at this moment here. Don't worry. So I use very cheapest one at this moment. Go through this all options. We will go through the each EBS volume here that is visible. That's I will go with just 2 GB of it and create it. Just leave as is, whatever you see, but you need to make sure that we know that availability zone, right? So the boundary that this volume has is availability. You need to make sure that where the instance that you are planning to attach, the volume also you are creating in the same availability zone. So which availability zone it has? The Windows machine, the 30 GB Windows machine is there in 2A. That London, it's a 2A, right? EU West 2A. So when you are creating a volume, you just need to make sure that you are using the same availability zone, otherwise it won't be visible for us. Okay, 2A and create it. So simple, right? So it's not displaying, just click refresh. Yeah. So what the status means, if you come here and if you see this, and the status is in use and available means it's just an empty disk, so no one is using at this moment. So how we can attach this? Right click, attach volume. So which one you need to attach? So how you know which one is Windows and which one is Linux? You don't know. So let's come back here. Instance, and you need to have this, you need to remember this instance name or it will be gone, and you can't remember that. So I just rename it so it's displayed for us. Okay. So now, I'll go back to the volumes. I just remembered 9.4 is the Windows, but whereas now it should display that Windows thing. Attach volume. See here, this is the Windows machine. The short name, the reference name. It's not the name of the instance which is inside the OS. It's just an our representation. So just click Windows and attach. Okay, now done. So now we launch the instance, and we also launched one 2 GB of extra space for this. So how did we launch? How we can get this space here. This again within OS level things. Just open the computer management, or I can do disk. See here we have this 2 GB attached. It's on OS level thing, so you can easily find out this info. It's like just Windows file formatting that. Okay, see here. Now we have a 2 GB of disk space we have. You got it? So this is how we can assign any new volume to the existing instance. Now what we saw till now is we launched the instance and we changed the instance type and we attached one EBS volume to the instance. So now we think that we attached this instance to this, and now we will see. Now we have a requirement that, boss, we have a 2 GB of instance, but after 6 months, we realize that 2 GB is not enough. How we can do this? How we can extend this D drive? So because this 2 GB is not definitely not sufficient for us. So how we can do that? Let's go back, and again the same thing can be done. By default, it's unlike VMware, we cannot directly extend the existing volume. So what we can do is you have to create volume based on this volume, and then we can I'll show you. I'll show you this. Okay, so when it's come back to here, come back to our console here. Let's create one folder, test, and new file, text document, CRAD, file created after 2 GB. Okay, so we just created this. What are the options? Now we saw that we added one drive, extra drive to instance. And what are the other options that we have? In the same place we have called a snapshots. So when you are trying to extend this volume, so the only option that we have is we have to take the snapshot of the existing volume and create a new volume based on that snapshot and reattach that. So that is the only way. Otherwise, unlike VMware, in VMware or Hyper, you want to just shut down that and increase the space, then it's gone. But whereas here, you have to shut down the machine and extend the drive, take the snapshot and create the new volume based on the snapshot and then attach it back. Okay, let's see how we can do this. Okay, you just need to take a snapshot of it. And what is the volume that we have? So you need to remember that volume, or you can directly go to this place and a 2 GB volume, right click and create. This both are same. Coming to snapshot and doing the snapshot is same. Okay, create a snapshot and snapshot 2 GB just for our test. Okay, create it. Okay, where you can see where the snapshot has been created. The only place is here. Okay. Few seconds, so it should be creating. Okay, now we got this snapshot. So what we done is we created a snapshot from the existing volume, and now if we still doing it, I thought it was done. Okay, what happened? Okay, let's wait for a few more seconds. 35%. Why? Why showing it showing completed, and again with some issue with this display. It is finishing. You have any questions till now? Creating an instance and attaching the volume and instance types.
Uh, do we have to stop the instance to attach the instance, or?
Attach the volume, right? I mean, you have to stop. I mean, for ideal scenarios, I mean, that is the best way, but for testing purpose, I'm just attaching and removing it. But whereas in Linux machines, you will see some issues if you are doing that online, but Windows will recognize it. But ideal way is shut down and attach and detach these functionalities will do. That is the proper way. Okay, if it is a live machine, that is the best way,
Okay.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so now we have a snapshot created. So from here, I mean, you see here, you have an option of creating the volume. Okay, from where we created, I mean, we created the fresh volume here from these volumes, but whereas if you come here, snapshots, and if you right click the snapshot, you will have a one more option of create volume. What this means it will create the volume from the existing snapshot. Okay, let's create it, and again we will choose the magnetic. And earlier, what is the volume snapshot? I mean, what is the size of the volume that we took? That is 2 GB. Now we'll try to go with 4 GB in the same availability zone. Create. So if you go back to the volumes, it will be creating one more volume with 4 GB of it. Okay, so I mean, I just do the hot, I mean, unplug, I mean, detach of this 2 GB. This is the one. Right click, detach volume. Yes. And I will attach this volume. So attach volume. And what is the instance? Windows machine. Attach it. Okay, done. So if we come back here, what we have here. See here, we have a 2 GB of volume again, but since this is 2 GB only formatted in earlier disk, so we need to extend that disk. If you come to disk management, you should be able to see that free 2 GB that was attached. See here, it is 2 GB only formatted, and 2 GB is unallocated. So you need to extend the disk, extend the volume, then next finish. Okay, so if we go back to this D drive, see here, the files that was created from in a D drive are already there, and we are able to extend the disk drive from 2 GB to 4 GB. What is the thing? What is the thing that we learn from here? There are two things. In this, one is we can take the backups by taking the snapshot. That is the one thing, and we can create the volumes by using the snapshot to extend the drives also. There are two things that you need to remember. Indirectly, we cover the backup of it. So this is the backup option also we can use by using the snapshot. Okay, so this is the snapshots method of any instance that we took the backup of it. So what we did is we just take the snapshot of it and created the volume. From the snapshot is nothing but we can restoring from the backup, but while restoring it will give an option to extend the volume size. It will give an option to increase the volume size, even change the volume type, whether it is a magnetic and all. That we will see in maybe in next class, that we will see how we can do that. Okay, do you understand till now? This is how we can extend the drive, and we can launch instance and attach drive and extend the drive and change the instance type.
Putty is only for the Windows users, right?
Putty is for yeah.
But people who are using Mac, they already have a terminal, but how can they do it?
I will show you. That you can show you. They can use this command line. Okay, let me. It's very easy. I'll show you right. Nothing but they already have a putty session. So if you come here, just click on connect, and it will show you the instruction how that when we connect. Let's click on here. See here. You just need to download. We already have this PEM file, right?
Yeah.
And put that here. This is the DNS name of it, and see here. Example is you can run this command on any this machine, window. Mac OS, right? Yeah, any terminal. So by using this command, you can easily connect instead of putty.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
AWS is made it very simple here. These guys are awesome. Somehow people who work till now on any data centers or application migration or middleware, they just love it. They made it very simple, our work. So you just need to understand how they made it simple. Okay, so this is how we can connect to the from Mac OS to Linux machines. Okay, let me see what are the topics that we can cover today. We'll cover only one more topic and we'll close the shop. And, okay. Okay. So, we told you that, in starting in first session, what we discussed is this paying off this instances is, I mean, pay as you go, right? The pricing model for the instances are pay as you go. What that means, I mean, it's like a mobile phone, right? So if you call it, I mean, you will be charged. It's not a, no, we cannot compare it. It's like electricity bill. Okay, if you use number of units, then you will pay for that. In the same way, this EC2 machines will be charged. The unit price is that, I mean, unit will be charged based on the minimum. I mean, unit is ideally if you use some these many power, that they will convert into units or amps or something. But here, I mean, it's based on hourly charge. So if you go with pricing of it, so how much is charge means, if you use 10 hours, you will be charged 10 hours. Okay, if you use 5 hours 40 minutes, you still will be charged for 5 hours. The charging will be starting from the, if you start the machine, I mean, if you just started for 5 minutes and if you shut down the machine, then you will be charged for the 1 hour. So EC2 is will be charged, based on, I mean, hours will be the duration. So that's the one thing. And the pricing model is there are a couple of different types of instances that we can buy. I mean, we can buy this. I mean, there are, I mean, types of, let me open it. Yeah, go on, man.
I've read somewhere that the pricing depends upon the region as well.
Yes, in pricing it depends on region, because it's because the pricing of the electricity and the space and rent of that location, because it varies, right? Because the region is nothing but in different location in different countries, continents. If it is a Europe, you see they might get power will be very cheap. If it is US, they will get a free land space because they have a huge, but they will only charge for power. So it's a small variation. It won't make much, but there is a difference between in regions also. Um, I mean, basically, we just need to instance purchasing options. Yes, I mean, this way we'll just. Okay, I mean, these are the main thing, because why I always refer online is, I mean, they change very drastically. I mean, any features or some sub features very drastically. So at this moment, I mean, I mean, whenever I global infrastructure, I will go online, even though I have a PPT, but I'll always refer and go to the online. Even you guys, I mean, the best place is, if you have any doubt, you just go to online and check for that particular information. So basically, I mean, schedule instance, I mean, basically we need to think about this on-demand or resort. These are different types of instance that we have. So we will, we will just go through some of it and then we will see. So on-demand instances, pay by hour, for instance, that you launch. So what this means is, I mean, just now we launched instance, right? This is on-demand. So, I mean, whatever the instance that you want, you will go there and just launch that instance and use it. So, and there is no benefit that we have. This is a normal way of doing it. By default, if everyone start any account, they just go there and they launch it. This is normal. It's called on-demand instance. A reserved instance. What it will do is, I mean, we will give a commitment from 1 year to 3 years that, boss, I mean, AWS, I mean, we are going to use this T2 micro instance for at least next 1 year. I am sure that we are going to use this instance for next 1 year. So if you give that kind of commitment to the AWS, what they will do is they will give the reduction of some minimum up to 20 to almost you will get 50% of discount. Sometimes you will get 70% if you reserve for the 3 years. If it is normally charging 12,000 rupees per year per EC2 micro instance, and if you reserve that for next 3 years, it will be charge you almost, 4,000. For every instance, we have a detailed description of it, so we can check it out. But the option that we have is, yes, if you go for the reservations from 30 to 70%, the price will be varies, and you will see the benefit. If you choose any bigger organizations, they always go with the reserved instances. Okay, that's the benefit. So how it will varies from 30 to 70%. So then again, within the reserved instances, they have a three kinds of purchase options. So full upfront. So if you reserve the instant, boss, I will pay upfront of this entire. If they are saying 10,000 is the yearly cost, and if you go with 1 year full upfront, you will get an 5,000 off. So that means entire one year payment that you are paying today. So that means today is Jan 3rd, 2017, and we will be using this instance till 2018 Jan 3rd. So I am paying this full upfront. So entire money that it's going to utilize, that you are going to offer for this entire by using a reserved instance, is 6,000. So I will be giving the 6,000. So that is the benefit. You will get a complete benefit of it. So, but you have an option of partial upfront. So instead of full upfront, but you don't have enough money, or you see some other benefit by using this company income to some other thing, and then you will pay, boss. Even though if I'm sure that we are going to use this for the 1 year, but whereas I will be paying partial upfront. Okay, that means every month they will pay something. So instead of 5,000 benefit that we are getting from the full upfront, they will reduce some money, but you will be only getting 4,000 of benefit because you are paying only monthly partial upfront. Okay, that is the one more option. That is why it will varies from 30% to 70% if you go with result. So there is one more options, no upfront. So full upfront, partial upfront, and no upfront. So no upfront means, boss, we will give a commitment, but we don't pay anything at this moment. But we are giving assurance that we are going to use this instance for the next 1 year. And again, the benefit that we are going to get will be less when compared to the partial upfront and full upfront. Okay. This is the difference between the reserved instance and on-demand instance. Do you understand these two? 99% only these two options people will use it. Do you understand, or any questions on this?
Good now.
Okay, good. And schedule instance, even I didn't see this. I don't know. I'll find out and come back to you. And we will go with spot instances. Spot instance is nothing but we told you. When we are talking in first sessions. What AWS will do to, because it's across many regions, and nowadays, they are launching these instances, across the globe, and in recent reInvent, every year they do the reInvent, and they launch the new services. What they mention is the global infrastructure at the time of 2007. If they calculate for the entire all regions, infrastructure in 2007. If you think that is 1 million servers, that is for entire all regions at 2007. The equivalent capacity they are launching in every day nowadays to increase the capacity of the resources of AWS resource. Imagine that entire cloud, how much is the hardware that they have? They are launching that much of hardware every day. They are adding that much of hardware every day to the AWS cloud. So, I mean, it's like 365 times increase. I mean, every day. I mean, whatever they have in 2007, it's almost every day they are doubling it. Okay, that is big. This AWS is. So what will happen? I mean, if they are trying to launch this much of hardware, I mean, they will see definitely there will be some free space, some free servers that are available across the AWS in different regions. So what they will do is they introduce this option of spot instances. If they have any free resources at that time, then you can bid for it. So they are giving the open bid. Open bid means everyone can, I mean, everyone can, whoever is having the AWS account, they can see these instance types, I mean, the spot instance, and they can bid for it. And if they see that it is very, I mean, sometimes it may get to 10% of existing on demand, sometimes it will be 20%, sometimes it's even less. If they have a huge volumes of it, they can get that less. But the drawback that they have is, if somebody, I mean, if you bid that for the $5 per hour, and if you got that, and if somebody quote that for this, I can offer you the same instance with $7. So if my name is Bhavna, right? So I took this instance at $5. But whereas if someone from the team, sorry, he has his own company and he's okay for paying the $7. Okay, what will happen is, I mean, he can bid for the $7, and this instance will be shut down here, and we will get a notification, boss, somebody else is bid it for more price, and we are not, I mean, we'll be terminating your instance, and we're allocating this resource to the Pramod. So that's how it happened. So, I mean, you might have a question that, do you really use this kind of instances? I mean, if somebody wants something and they just take it, till now we are using, what will happen to the workload that we are doing on that? But I mean, there are some applications will need these spot instances kind of thing. So even though if you lose the servers, and the application is capable of generating thus information, they just use for the batch processing ideally. These spot instances will be using the batch processing. So I shown you, right, PDF converters, image modifications, they just execute some job and shut down the machines. So those kind of purpose, I mean, these spot instances will be used. Okay. Okay, so that's the spot instances. And a dedicated host means some people, I mean, some organization, they don't want their machines, I mean, there's hardware also shared with, since cloud is multi-tenant and multiple opcos will be used, right? So some of course they don't like their machines running on shared hardware. So some people want for the dedicated host, physical servers that they want, and they can, I mean, they opt for this also. So that's very simple. That's a dedicated host for you guys. And there is, I mean, dedicated instance, pay by hour for instance that run on a single tenant hardware. Again, this is This is like, I mean, all instances that are allocated to you will be running on some set of hardwares. That is entire VPC. I mean, this will be selected at a single time. When you have an VPC, I mean, you have an option to select that. So whenever you launch any instance, all this instance will be launched on your dedicated physical server. So no one will share this hardware behind the screens. I mean, so when you are saying it is a cloud, I mean, many people will be sharing underground hardware. But whereas in this, all hosts that are launched within your VPC will not be shared with any other opcos, any other tenant. That is how it will be used. So I'll come back to the schedule instances. Even I didn't see this option, so I'll find out this and I'll come back to you. So, and this is for it today. So any questions till now?
No.
Okay, if we don't have any questions, we can, we are good. So, and we'll touch base again tomorrow. And make sure if you don't do the labs, and you will forget everything.
Uh,
So do the labs.
I
Go on, Dharma. Go on, go on.
What if someone create a WhatsApp group and we can be in contact if someone has a doubt?
Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, you check with the. I mean, yeah, that's fine. Just go on with it. So I'm fine. Just add it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay, guys. So touch base you tomorrow then. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.